Welcome to the latest update in World of Tanks console, and today's video is going to cover everything that you need to know about this update, along with a giveaway for you guys that you can take part of by just subscribing and commenting down below, but we'll cover that later on in the video. So first things first, what is this new tank? The Caliban, the heavy tank at tier 8 for the World War II game mode, and this is a new tank to World of Tanks console, not to PC. And actually, the Caliban has been on PC for about 6 months, I think, maybe slightly more. And this is a really fun tank. I played it last year on PC, I believe at Christmas time. It came out as part of like the Christmas event, I believe, off the top of my head. But yeah, it's a really fun tank. It effectively gets 850 alpha damage per shot. Whether that carries over to console, we can see right here. And so yes, it does. We have 850 alpha per shot, and it is a 2-clip auto reloader, so it isn't your typical auto loader. Of course, the auto reloaders, they get better as you kind of keep reloading. So if you fire with 2 shells in the magazine and then you fire 1 off, then you'll get a better reload than if you were to fire your only 1 shell reloaded and then like reload again. Auto reloaders allow you to obviously reload multiple rounds without negating any real penalty for firing. So you can fire, if you've got 3 in the clip, you can fire 2 off and then you can reload those 2 back into the tank. Or alternatively, you could have 3 in the clip, you fire 1, you can reload that last shell back into the magazine. And that's kind of how they work. Different to autoloaders, where once you've fired a shell, you have to either unload your clip completely or reload the entire clip. So that's kind of the differences between autoloaders and auto reloaders for you guys. And I'm sure many of you already know that, so hopefully I haven't bored you too much to death. But nonetheless, the Caliban, what are the statistics of the vehicle? Well, console have it at 33 kilometers an hour, so it's not particularly that fast. But the power to weight ratio of the Caliban is amazing. 23.36 power to weight, which means, yes, you consistently do 33 kilometers an hour. And I've seen that on PC throughout playing it myself, and I'm sure it'll be the exact same on console. Now, one thing that you'll probably want to run on this vehicle is the use of the advanced power terrain, or maybe you want to use the other speed boost equipment for the engine, or whatever it is, to just boost up that speed just a little bit so that you aren't going 33 kilometers an hour, because it just needs to be a little bit more flexible, considering you're playing a tank that is, to all intents and purposes, like super long reload. So you want to get into position ready for when you are reloaded to make use of the damage per minute of the vehicle. Now, the damage per minute of the vehicle is not actually awful. The auto reloader has 2,763, but remember, this is taking into account the maximum damage per minute, whereby you are just firing off 1 shell in the magazine at a time. If you start firing off 2, then you end up with a 65-second reload to do 1,700 alpha, so it significantly impacts the auto reloader feature of this tank. So you want to be using those kind of HESH rounds. And remember as well, with the HESH rounds, you get 180 penetration, and because they don't have the PC mechanics of the HESH penetration where they can go through tracks and they can go through spaced armor, you will just splash off a lot of the opponents. So you'll probably want to use the 292mm penetration rounds with 600 alpha, where you can guarantee at least 600 alpha every single shot. So that's kind of what I do on the PC. That will probably translate over onto console pretty well. And yeah, I really do implore you guys to use both the HESH and the actual AP rounds, because it's super important that you use the right round, because a lot of the time when you're trying to use the 850, you can't pen a lot of the things that you come up against, especially higher tier vehicles, and playing tier 8 and playing up to tier 10 can be a big problem if you come up against something like an E100 with 180 penetration, so you end up only doing like 100 damage. And remember, the E100 can smack you for like 750, or alternatively, something even more like a Jaeger. You have to kind of weigh these things up. The tank is technically called a heavy tank, but I would be playing this more as a kind of aggressive tank destroyer that really relies upon being a purely support tank, so you don't want to be YOLOing in. We'll do a full review of this tank, so don't worry if you want to get a full review and rundown as to how to play it, but just an initial thing for you guys straight off the bat so you know how this tank typically plays. Now, for those of you who maybe haven't jumped onto the game today, then you'll probably want to know how much it's going to set you back if you decide to buy it. And yes, this is probably one of the most expensive premium tanks Wargaming have released in a long time. 13,360 gold. Yeah, I knew that this would probably be the case because, you know, typical Wargaming being releasing something that is maybe borderline a little bit too strong considering their views on auto reloaders and saying that they weren't particularly great, so they're going to try and make them a little bit more enticing. So I don't know how kind of much of a buff the Caliban is really going to be. I don't think, I'm going to say it right here, I don't think it's going to be outrageously OP or anything like that. Certainly not. But it would definitely be a fairly strong contender and a really fun tank. It's something new. You don't usually get 1700 alpha damage on a tier 8 tank. So yeah, really looking forward to getting my hands on this. But yeah, remember 13,360 gold for just the base package. And if you want the top package for the primed version, 16,320 gold. And then the middle package is 14,900. They basically come with the skin and a couple of boosters, etc. And then the top package comes with like some equipment. I would never ever, personally, for me personally, I would not spend my money on the top package of any World of Tanks package for gold because, you know, it's basically 1.5 million silver is what you're paying like 2,000 gold for, or 1,500 gold, and I would much rather just play 3 games in Cold War and save myself 1,500 gold or about £5, and, you know, super easy to do, and that's just how I would prefer to play it. But nonetheless, the Caliban. Hopefully you guys leave your comments in the comment section down below. Have you played it so far? Let me know in the comment section down below. And of course, we'll move on to the rest of the news and then, of course, onto the giveaway. Now then, so content changes for the week. We have, of course, got the Caliban. We've got the Caliban skin. We'll see those skins in a second. But we've also got the early start challenge for new accounts, whereby you can basically get some extra silver, you can get some extra XP, you can just kind of get to grips with playing the game a little bit better. And of course, if you have any friends that want to play the game, then probably now is a good time to start. And then, yeah, it's basically just a little helping hand to new players, which, I don't know, it's probably a good idea. I would have liked to have seen more emphasis on the silver, but we talked about in the previous update news that I'm sure many of you have probably already watched. But nonetheless, we've also then got the premium bonus, so you can take advantage of this. It is for the Bradley, so this is Cold War vehicle. And then you've got the Object 268, which we will do a full video on. This is the World War II version, not the Cold War version, because, you know, there's a bit of crossover in there. But the Object 268, really, really good tank. I absolutely love it. And then the third premium bonus tank is for the CS63, the Polish medium tank that is actually pretty decent. It has that speed kind of boost mechanic as part of its actual tank, so yeah, it's basically super fast. And then you get like the standard version of it where like you're slightly slower but you get better gun accuracy, that sort of thing. So that's kind of the differences between the two modes of playing that tank. You can activate them within the game. It's a really novel, unique tank and a fantastic tier 10 medium as well, so you know, it's a brilliant time to go towards those. 50% more XP and silver when playing any of those vehicles that lead up to those vehicles that we've just mentioned. And it will also apply to all of the tier 5 plus vehicles in those tech tree lines. It won't count for the tier 3 or 4. So yeah, just tier 5 and above. Then, of course, we have the tier 8, 9 and 10 silver bonus event. So you can earn extra silver every single game that you play, if you can manage to deal over 1,000 damage, I believe. So this is amazing. It's going to allow you to just grind through a ton of silver. My kind of opinion on it is that you should probably play tier 8 premiums to grind through a ton of silver. But then, you know, it'll probably be fairly comparative to if you were to play Cold War vehicles with the silver boosters and using just Cold War vehicles. It's probably equal in terms of how much silver you earn. So yeah, just take of that what you will. And decide upon which way you'd want to go. Do you want to play tier 8 vehicles? That's great for World War II players to be able to earn the same amount as probably what Cold War tanks do as just the standard version. So yeah, looking forward to that. Then we have the select tanks for free XP. This will be available in the premium tech tree. You can just go and I think you can search by free XP tanks or something like that, and you can effectively search through the tanks and you can pay using the free XP that you have on your account. So I highly recommend doing that if you are interested. But of course, I wouldn't necessarily go out of your way to convert your XP into free XP to then buy the tank. It's probably just as well just buying the tank with the gold that you probably have on your account. But there you go. Yeah, just have a look at as to whether you want to purchase any of those. And then we have the contracts for the Long Reach. And the Long Reach, that is the tier 6 German/Soviet hybrid mercenary tank that I think has 390 alpha. It's on like a VK hull, I believe, off the top of my head. Obviously, if I've got that wrong, let me know in the comment section down below. But I believe it's that version. I think it's like yellow or something like that. But yeah, I think it's actually a pretty decent tank, and I mean, if you haven't got it, then maybe it's worth it and you have completed all of the other contracts. Now then, bundles wise, this is always a bone of contention of mine. We have the Caliban, which we've already talked about. We then got the post-war Pioneer. So these are the Cold War vehicles on sale. It's the T-55A and the T-95E3. I wouldn't necessarily go out of your way to buy either of these. They're not particularly my favourite, and I wouldn't necessarily say that they're particularly great as well as Cold War vehicles. You're probably better off using some of the ones that we've got for free over the season passes, or just holding out till a better deal comes out. Then we've got Scoot and Spot, which is the French tier 8 Vanguard EOC Even 90, one of my favourite light tanks in the game, just because it's a little rat and super hard to hit. And then you've got the FE 1066 Senlac, which is probably the worst light tank you can see at tier 8. Yeah, or at least very, very low down on the list of good light tanks. So yeah, I think this is probably the worst or one of the worst in the game. Then we have the triple nickels. So this is the Japanese tier 5 type 3 Chinokai medium. I mean, it's pretty boring to play, but yeah, it's there for you. Soviet tier 5 Bogatyr KV-222. Really, really great tank, but yeah, whether it's worth it to have it with the Chinokai, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Make up that what you will. I just don't think that the Chinokai is worth it. But there you go. And the Cold War Marksman, the NM116, which is an amazing tank destroyer, genuinely so fun to play in Cold War. And then the M50 Ontos tank destroyer, which is also really fun to play, but you can't actually get marks of excellence on the barrel, which is kind of annoying. But there we go. Really do think that that's probably one of the better tank bundles this week, but it's probably very expensive. Probably looking at 20,000 gold or something ridiculous to be able to purchase this, maybe slightly less. But yeah, in terms of the actual competitive nature of the tank, these two are probably the best ones to go for. And then you've got Eastern Front starters, which comes with the T-34 shielded. The medium tank is pretty decent, nothing too special. And then the captured KV-1, which is probably one of the most OP tier 5s in the game, albeit separate from the Panzer V-4, which is the most OP tier 6, tier 5 in the game. Yeah, just basically a tier 6 heavy at tier 5 that can go 65 kilometers an hour and has a Panther hull that bounces rounds left, right and centre. Nonetheless, the Capture KV-1 is basically a KV-1 that has a really rapidly high DPM gun and tears through pretty much everything. And the kind of balancing factor from Wargaming's point of view is that you have to press A, or you have to load the premium rounds to actually make this tank good. And as soon as you do that, you realise that this tank is OP when you can pen everything and just basically blitz through opponents that you come up against with ease. Deals of the week then. We have the M41D, which I believe is the Chinese tier 8 M41 Walker Bulldog variant. There's like 10 million of them. We've got like the Hollenhund, we've got the M41D, we've got the T41, we've got the M41 actual Walker Bulldog on the tech tree. Yeah, there's loads. I believe I'm probably missing one out as well. The Black Dog, not the Black Dog, it's the M41 Brazil as well, so there's like a million versions of the M41 Walker Bulldog in the game. Yeah, this one, pretty decent version, probably not the best though. Then we have the Tactical Advantage for the K91 version 2, so you can pick that up as well. All of these in the Deals of the Week section are 50% off. Then we've got the personal offers. We've got the M46 Pattern Career, which is a pretty decent one. Trinity Mark II, which is also good. I did a review of that, but it is for, I believe, free, or at least as part of the standard season pass for this season. So whether you want to pay for it, or last season, I believe, maybe. But yeah, you probably already got this. And then the Senshi STA2, which is a really, really great Japanese tier 8 medium as well. So all three of those are actually pretty decent for once. So yeah, really good. Marks of Excellence Damage Standing update. Tanks that had 0 marks and gained 0 marks have now been corrected. All effective tanks have been placed to the highest damage standing since the update. If your tank lost its damage standing due to this, but has now gained or exceeded the damage standing, you will not see any changes. So effectively, they've just kind of changed that and made it okay. And then, yeah, just generally the Caliban in the game. We'll move on to the giveaway as well right now. Now then, for the giveaway, what you need to do, really simple, is just comment your gamer tag with the console that you actually play. So if you're playing on Xbox, let me know your gamer tag and also tell me that it's either on Xbox or PlayStation, because that's what you need to do. If you don't put PlayStation or Xbox next to it, I'm not going to know which console you play, so you're not going to get credited the tank if you do win. So make sure that you actually put your console next to your name in the comment section down below. So I really do recommend you do that if you want a chance at winning 2 tier 8s, or a tier 7, or a load of silver boosters. We'll get into the actual rewards in specific. Also, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel as well. And then, yeah, you're basically in with a chance of winning premium tanks, a load of camo vouchers, some silver boosts, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, we'll get into that now. So what can you actually get as part of this giveaway? So, number 1. Probably the better premium tank that you can get is the K91 version 2. So this is the tier 8 Soviet tank. Plays much like the K91. I wasn't much of a fan of it, but it's a pretty decent one, so you can get your hands on that. Then we've also got the Panhard EBR 75 MLE. So this is the tier 8 French wheeled vehicle that you can get your hands on as well, potentially. Then you've got the tier 7 Skullcap as well, and that is a separate. All of them, you can only win one tank, so you can't win all of them. But obviously, if you comment in the comment section down below, you'll be able to have a chance at winning at least something, and I think we've got about 6 or 7 prizes that you can win. We've then got 4 camo vouchers, so you can actually get camo on your tanks for free, so that saves you like 250 gold per time if you manage to win it, so effectively it's like getting 1,000 gold. Then you've got 15 times 2 silver boost, so this is actually really good for those of you wanting to grind either Cold War, or maybe you want to use it with the World War II vehicles that are currently going to be on the operation where you can earn double silver. So really, really good time to use those. So get in with a chance to win. And then you've also got a 3D commander, Claude Debeau. So you can potentially get him, or then there are some others which are, you can either get a top secret keycard or a confidential keycard. There are 2, so you can pick up one or the other. So that's always good. Extra bit of gold, potential to get a premium tank, potential to get a premium tank that you already own. Always good. And then we've got 7 days of premium and 3 days of premium. All of those rewards you can get if you just comment in the comment section down below. Just basically to give back to you guys. Hopefully that was not too much information. All you have to effectively do for a chance to win some of this stuff is just comment and subscribe. That's it. It's basically that simple. Let me know though your console. Remember that. Other than that, hopefully that video and the update news was good. Let me know what you think. If you want me to do any specific content, always let me know in the comment section down below, because I've taken a lot of your ideas in the past as for videos, what tanks you want to see me play in. And so yeah, just let me know down below. But thank you very much for watching. I hope you join me in the next one, and I'll see you there. Goodbye.